Hey y'all, so in this video, we're just going to be modifying some of the existing light source entities in our scene. For example, we're going to modify some of the properties on the flashlight light source as well as our main light source, which I guess is all of our light sources. So as of right now, if we want to make a change to something, for example, let's go to the world.rs file and look at our main light source. Down here in the point light bundle here, we'd have to maybe change the intensity here, and then we'd have to go back down and run cargo R and look at the changes, see if it's what we wanted. If it's not, we'd have to come back and then change the intensity. Well, there's a much better way to do this because this way is very disruptive and breaks up your workflow a lot and slows you down. There is a crate that allows you to change all these entities and these entity properties while you are running your program and looking at your different looking at your scene. So this is called the Bevy Inspector E GUI. So let's go ahead and add that to our project. So run Bevy add, or no, sorry, cargo add Bevy Inspector E GUI. And I'm gonna go ahead and build while we're waiting. And then we can go ahead and go to the main.rs file and fill out some boilerplate code. So first we need to import this new plugin. So let's go ahead and use Bevy Inspector. That's not how you spell it. Inspector E GUI Quick World Inspector plugin. And then go down to your plugins and add it right here. And it's called the World Inspector plugin, just like so. So now if we go ahead and run the project, you're going to see this new window that's part of the application, and you'll see what I mean in just a second. All right, so now you see this window here, and you can see there's a lot of just generic names here. So we don't see anything to do with a player, but I think that's this one right here is entity, and then the ground is probably this PBR mesh. The point light is probably our main light source. So that's not a very good way to be able to identify which entities are which through this world inspector. So we can actually change that and be able to, so we can access these very easily. Let's go to the player.rs file, go to the spawn player system, and we're going to add a new component to this system. And we're going to say name new player. Let's also add it to the flashlight entity. So first we need to wrap this in a tuple since there's going to be multiple components. And we'll call this flashlight. And let's do it in a couple different areas. Let's go to the world.rs file. Let's go to the floor, and we need to also wrap this in a tuple if we're going to add another component. And we'll call this one floor or ground, whatever you want. And then also down at this main light source, we're going to again wrap it in a tuple. Right, name new main light. Just like that. Or there you go, just like that. So now if we go ahead and run this project, you're going to see in this world inspector, we have some names that make sense here. So here's our main light. And we want to modify some of the properties on here, and I'll show you how to do that. So if you go to the main light drop down and then go to point light, here's a bunch of properties that we can change. And if we go to the same area in our actual code, so the spawn light system, here's that point light bundle. And here's the intensity that we have set to 2000 right here. So let's change this right here. And let's try something smaller like 500. Okay, that looks a little better, but let's make it a little bit darker and put it at 100. And I think that looks much better. It looks like it's actually nighttime. But now let's change the color so it is kind of like an orangish hue, maybe at dusk time or something like that. So I'm going to change this. I think that looks pretty good for our purposes. And now that we have, actually we want shadows enabled too. So let's go ahead and add these shadows. So now there's a shadow on my player. You know what? I actually don't like that, so I'm going to take the shadows off of the main light source. But now we can go ahead and mimic these same properties over here while we have them up. So let's put the intensity at 100. And then you'll see these RGBA values right here for the color. Go ahead and hit the copy button, and then now we can close out our game window. And I'm going to paste those in there for now. And we need to add a color source here. Color RGBA. And we can't just add 255 or 199 like that, because this is expecting a value from 0 to 1. So we need to convert these. And how we do that is we divide each one of them by 255. So this first one's easy. 255 divided by itself is 1. And then now we need to do 199. I'm going to do it in my terminal here. Divided by 255. That gives us 0.78. 0.78. 0, that's easy. It's going to be 0. And then again, 1. So now if we run it, let's go ahead and just verify that it looks like how we just had it, modifying it through the world inspector. And it does. So perfect. Now we're going to modify the actual spotlight of the flashlight. And this is going to be under player. And then remember, we spawned this flashlight as a child of the player entity. So it's going to be under children here. And then here you're going to see the flashlight entity. And then go down to spotlight, and this is where you're going to find all those properties. And we're going to modify some of these to make it look a little bit better. So first, let's change the color. I'm going to make it kind of a yellowish hue to be more of a flashlight. And I'm going to copy those values, and I'm going to paste them. Actually, we need to navigate over to our player RS file. I'm going to paste them up here for now, just for reference. And then let's change, I think we should add some intensity to this. So let's put 4,000 on that. And I think that looks a lot better. That's pretty bright. And then the range, I think the range is probably good. Let's leave the range. And then let's go to the outer angle. Let's see what this one does. Let's just start moving it around. Okay, yep. I want mine to be kind of like a cone shape, so I'm going to leave it relatively low, and then let's see what this does. Okay, I think this one has to be in between 0 and the outer angle, so it kind of just gives it a harder edge to it. I'm going to have it at 0.5. And now I'm going to mimic these over in the actual properties of the light source. So down here, I'll move that down over there. Down here, spotlight bundle, we're going to do this, fill in the default parameters. And then now we can actually write these down here. So color, what am I doing wrong? Oh, spotlight, okay. Spotlight, add the default parameters again, just to get that out of the way. And then let's do color here, color RGBA. And then again, we're gonna have to convert some stuff. So 1.0, and then down here we need to convert 246. Oh, I have this running, so actually let's change some other things first. I'm going to comment this out for a second, and then let's go ahead and change the intensity here. And the intensity we want at 4,000. Let's see, outer angle, we want this at 0.6. Inner angle, we want this at 0.5. And I think that's all we have. So now I'm going to exit this out, and then I'm going to address the color here. So remember, I'm just doing these right here. I pasted them a little bit below. So now I need to convert 246. So 246 divided by 255 is 0.96, 0.96. And then we need to convert 95. So 95 divided by 255 is 0.37, 0.37. And then 255 divided by 255 is 1. Okay, and then I think we can get rid of that. Now let's go ahead and run our project again and make sure it looks like we just had it. Oh, no, cargo R. Okay, perfect. So now that we have the flashlight, actually, I think we need to modify the transform a little bit too, because look how it's lighting up the whole flashlight. I don't think we want that. So let's go back over to player, children, flashlight, and then go down to transform. And then here you'll see the transform values. So we want to modify the translation. And let's see. It's where do I want it? I'm not actually sure. I think we'd want it like right there. So negative 0.5. So let's go over to our spawn player system again. And then let's write transform from x, y, z, 0, 0.0, 0, 0.0, and then negative 0.5. But I think the y value should be very small positive number, 0.2. Actually, we want that at 0. And let's make that a 0.3. Something like that. I don't think it's a big deal. So let's just go ahead and continue on with the tutorial here. You can modify it however you'd like. But okay, so that's in a nutshell how to use the Bevy Inspector E GUI crate. So as you can see, it's a really good tool to be able to debug pretty fast and modify properties. And then you just look at those properties and copy them over to what you have in the code. So yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for this video. I will see you in the final video, I believe it will be in video number 7. All right, see you guys over there.